Good afternoon and welcome to the seminar Design Your Project Abroad from Dream to Reality. I am Dr. Michelle Alvarez, founder and advisor of my project abroad, and I feel much honored to be presenting here today. I want to acknowledge Erasmus Mundus Alumni Association and the OCEANS Network for this opportunity to be a speaker on the Online Career Week today. So, before starting the seminar, I would like to give you a couple of suggestions so you can get the best out of this talk and also honor your time. For that, I will ask you to please turn off distractors such as cell phone, SMS, Skype, and social networks. Quit out your email. Find a calm place. Maybe prepare a glass of water and get ready to take notes. And also to focus your attention during the next 30 minutes. This is because I want to be sure to have all your attention, and that's why I will ask you to stop multitasking now. I will also try to make questions to you during this seminar, and I will appreciate your reactivity. I think you can use the chat to answer to these questions. So let me tell you a little bit about what you will learn today. This seminar is extract of an 8-week online coaching program. And for you that are dreaming about starting a career abroad, this seminar will teach you how to manage your dream as a project and take the necessary steps to make it real. It will also help you to get clear, honest, and positive on your own departure point. Okay, I'm making a stop now, a pause, because people say audio quality is not that good. Is someone else having trouble to listen me? Can you please comment on the chat? So thank you, Khaled. I see that you're having trouble to listen. Is anyone else okay? Giselle says it's okay. So I will continue now because we have a limited amount of time. I'm sorry about those who cannot listen very well. It's probably you can follow the slides. So in addition, you will learn how to set goals and tasks for your project and take action in alignment with your dream. So let's see how you will learn today. In fact, it's very easy because it is organized in a step-by-step method, so there are 7 steps. First, you need to define your departure point. So we need to create an honest and positive profile of yourself. Then there is a process of defining what you want for your career and your life. And this is get clear on what you want to achieve abroad. This is done by knowing more about yourself. So you need to define your needs and expectations abroad. And these 3 steps will allow to arrive to a key point, which is transform your dream on a clear idea on paper. Once you have done that, you can define goals, tasks, and priorities, and you can take action in alignment with your dreams. You will also need to know how to manage your dream as a project so you can succeed with your project. So let's start with the first point, which is create an honest and positive profile of yourself. So I will tell you in a nutshell why it's such an important step of the process. Now try to imagine that you arrive into a new big city, you don't know, you are there for the first time. Imagine you are in Paris or London and you need to go to your friend's house. So you have your friend's address and you have a map. And at the first sight, when you see the map, it's full of numbers and lines and colors, and it's just so complicated to decode. So what do you do at the first time when you see the map? Usually, you will try to find where you are. So you try to find this small mark written, "You are here." So this shows you that before finding the best way to get to your destination, you need to know your departure point. And this means getting honest with yourself about who you are now, where you are, and how is your life in this particular moment. And then you will realize that you can arrive to your destination point by many different routes and different timing and cost. And you will also notice that some of them don't take you to the place you want to be. So if you apply this to yourself, you will see that you have very unique profile given by your age, your gender, nationality, education path, work experience, responsibilities, familiar situation, health, job situation, and financial status. So all these need to be taken into account. Because the more clear, honest, and developed your profile is, the best you can take all these factors into account when planning to go abroad. And these factors are crucial when you are applying for a job or for a grant or for a visa, for example. It's also a good moment to get honest about your own fears and mental barriers so you can start taking them in charge from the beginning. So now let's do something about it. We will have some action here. So I propose you this question challenge. Uh, so the question challenge is, can you really answer these questions? And does the answer depend on who is asking? So if you decide to go abroad for living, studying, or working, you will see that these questions will start arising over and over, and they will present to you in different situations, and this information will be required in many different ways. So try to imagine, for example, applying for a job, for a visa, or simply trying to make new friends abroad. So how will you answer to these questions? Maybe some of you want to share in the chat, how will you answer to these questions? Who am I? Which valuable experience do I have? What do I enjoy doing? What do I need to live? How are my personal finances? And which permanent responsibilities do I have now? So can anyone share in one phrase who you are in one sentence? Don't be shy, guys. You see, it's not always easy to be as clear as that answering those questions. And you will see maybe the answer will depend on who is asking. And you will have to take your time to reflect on these questions well before you start planning to go abroad. I want to show you now another exercise. I call it the cloud exercise. And once you are in the spiral of starting a career abroad, you will constantly face change. So this exercise is intended to prepare you to face change. And here I share with you a small paragraph that I wrote for myself. And this describes the way I see myself through the process of constant change. I will read it to you, and I will invite you to write your own. It is important that you start asking yourself if you are ready to embrace change. And it is also good to identify fears and limitations that might be important to treat in the first stages of your project. So here's what I wrote for myself. Clouds can be what they want. They can change and take any shape and change it as they like. The wind pushes them smoothly to an unknown and exciting destination, touring the world in their wake. Sometimes clouds must endure storms, or they try to discharge their loads, but the next day the sun always shines. I am a cloud. So maybe some of you already have a way do you face the process of change. Maybe you want to share how do you face change. Maybe some of you think of yourself as a butterfly, or you know the process of change that you will experience in the coming months if you decide to start your career abroad. Now we will move to step number 2. Step number 2 is get clear on what you want to achieve abroad. And this will be useful to, for example, determine the length of your stay abroad, to make a budget and financial strategy, to avoid extremes, to avoid to fall into extremes such as frustration because you didn't have the time to make all what you wanted to achieve abroad, or homesickness because you just finished what you had to do and you just want to go back home. It will also help you to increase productivity and succeed abroad. And it will also help you to make your thoughts and actions coherent. So take action in alignment with your intentions and embrace opportunity. To spend your energy and forces into activities that take you closer to your goals and dreams. And finally, but to get the maximum out of your experience with what you want and more. So now let's do something about that. Remember that these exercises I am showing you here very fast because of the time can be repeated later at home, taking your time to do them completely. Okay, so for that, I will ask you to make a list of main goals or milestones, also to define secondary goals and activities, and to also please include in the list things you would like to do, but you think you cannot allow yourself. So here I give an example. It's a virtual example on a virtual project of someone who wants to spend a year of his career or her career in France. So this person's list looks like this. Milestones. Find a non-permanent contract to work as a programmer in Paris. Get installed in a comfortable place and well-located place. Learn to speak French. The secondary goals include travel to Lyon, Marseille, and Rome and make new friends, and other goals include taking cooking lessons and buying a car. So maybe some of you already have a clear idea of your milestones. Maybe some want to share which is your project, which is the main goal of your project. It's important that you start defining, making the list, and take your time to make the list as long as possible, including all the possibilities, even those things that you are probably letting go because you think you cannot allow yourself. And once you have made your list, this will be your base to write down your dream as a real project idea. So let's go to review briefly step number 3. Step number 3 is about defining your needs and expectations abroad. So for that, you need to make a list again of needs. What do you need to live? What is definitely necessary for your project? Other thing, what are you expecting to get? And finally, what can you dispense? What is not really absolutely necessary? If we take again the example of the virtual project, this person definitely needs a job to get income, and he will definitely need a working contract. And is expecting this working contract to be in Paris, but he's also open to work in Lyon or Marseille. So it means this person is open to embrace opportunity. If he gets an opportunity somewhere else, he's open to take it. And he has also defined that it doesn't have to be a permanent contract. At the beginning, a short-term one will be enough for the first year. So this really gives a lot of flexibility to embrace opportunities. So now, when you have defined your list of goals and milestones, and you have your list of needs, expectations, and things that you can let go, it's now time to transform your dream on a clear idea on paper. And this is typically how my clients approach me. They send me emails with phrases like this. I've been thinking about maybe spending some time in France. Or I would like to spend a year of my career working somewhere abroad. I want to work abroad, but I don't know how to. I want to take advantage of my skills somewhere else. So I will tell you the magic recipe to really make it happen. And this is write it down in a brief, clear, and concise way. To do this, you need to answer the question. If I go to, and then you insert the location, during, and then you insert the duration of your stay, what am I going to accomplish? What am I expecting to accomplish during this period of time? For example, if I go to Paris during 1 year, what am I expecting to accomplish during this period of time? And you should end up with something like this. My project is to work as a programmer in Paris with a non-permanent contract starting from January 2015. Getting started in a comfortable and well-located place and learn to speak French. I will also travel during this time and make new friends. So this is how your project needs to be defined before start acting. And my question for you now is, can anyone already share your project in such a brief, clear, and concise way? And if it is the case, I would love to hear about your projects, and I love to learn more about you. So I have someone that is sharing with us. So I would like to make a pause here to say that this person, okay, got the concept about the exercise on the clouds and, you know, embracing opportunity. So he's saying he once got an opportunity to work in China. He just had 2 days to decide, and he didn't really have the time to think so much about it, and he just took that opportunity. So that's exactly what I'm trying to say when I say you have to be open and receptive to embrace opportunity. But if behind you have not really reflected on what you want, you will just be freezed. You know, you will just say, okay, it's not the moment. You will be freezed out. So it's good to make all these exercises well before you start planning to go abroad. So now let's move. Now that your project is well defined, you can start working on your goals, tasks, and priorities. So for that, you will need to break down your goal into simple tasks and give them priorities. This means setting up who is responsible for each task. Most of the task is probably you who are the only one who's going to be responsible. But you know, you can also delegate. And when it's possible to delegate, do it. And you can set up dates for each task, and you need to avoid procrastinations. You need to be coherent with yourself. If you decided to do something before a certain deadline, you need to report to yourself and have some accountability. Give yourself a limited amount of time to complete each task. Some of us are really, you know, we want to be perfect. We want to do things so good that we spend ages doing something. So give yourself just a limited amount of time to do things. And you can do it imperfectly and maybe add some extra day to polish your work. As an example, the CV, sometimes we spend like months or weeks trying to make a perfect CV. You know, you can just do a draft and then work a little bit more on the format or designing or adding details, but at least you have a draft which is imperfect, but it's there if you, in case you need it. So let's see a developed example here on how to break down your goal into simple tasks and give them priorities. And for that, I'm taking again my example of finding a non-permanent contract to work as a programmer in Paris. So the idea is, you know, how to find a non-permanent contract. So I broke down that problem into simple tasks. And at the beginning, when you start thinking about that, you will start having ideas. So write them down And you will see that when you after they will be put it in order, and you will see there is a natural order in the task. For example, translate the CV into English and French, upload the CV into a professional social network. Of course, you cannot upload your CV if your CV is not ready, so you see the natural order will come by itself. Identify potential employers, make a research for open positions, make a short list with positions that are of my interest. So important. I'm not taking anything just because you know something came to me and I have the feeling that I have to take it. No, I make a list of what is of my interest. Prepare a cover letter to support my application. Submit application to open position. Submit spontaneous applications. You need to, maybe the opportunities are not popping up everywhere, but it doesn't mean they don't exist. So you can also try to submit spontaneous applications. And finally, take time to brainstorm and reflect on the answers. So now I'm going to show you something more, another goal, how to break this goal into simple tasks. So getting installed in a comfortable and well-located place. This is not a priority until you get the job. So here I'm going to make a little break because someone is telling me that when change arrives so fast, sometimes they are repulsive. And when the change is smooth, is considerable. And that's why I was telling you at the beginning, you need to define yourself. How do you face change, and which kind of changes are you willing to embrace? Because you are probably not open to everything. So you have to be open and receptive and clear on what you are accepting and what you are not accepting. For example, imagine you have a family life and they tell you, okay, I want you to start working, and I want you to start working in the other side of the world in 1 month. But you're probably not open to that because it means that you have to leave your family for 3 or 4 months alone. It's just an example, but this is the important thing, defining your criteria so you can be coherent with what you want. And remember that there is always a way to, when you know what you want, there is always a way to negotiate so things can go in the way you want. So we come back to example. So getting started in a comfortable and well-located place in Paris. So of course you are not going to find a place to stay if you don't know if you have the job. So there is a prior information that you can start getting. For example, identifying the zones of Paris that are good to live. So this is important. You are start creating your criteria. You make a research on the diverse possibilities of accommodation. You make a research of the cost of living and cost of accommodations. And very important, you learn how things work there. For example, the case of Paris is very particular. When you try to find accommodation there, you are not choosing your accommodation. It's the person who owns the house who is choosing who is going to rent the house. So you are in a short list. And once you get the job, you can limit your research zone, for example, by taking into account how you will get to your working place. You also prepare a list for needs and criteria. For example, I need 2 rooms, 1 kitchen, I need to be close to a train station or walking distance from the market. These are just examples of criteria that you need to include. You can search for recommended local agencies, submit your list to them, or make your own research online. Prepare all the documents, pre-reserve when it's possible or necessary, program visits, make visits, and then take your decision. There is someone here telling me French people is always difficult for renting issue. Well, let me tell you something. I have lived many years in France. In fact, I have a dual nationality. I'm also French now. And yes, of course, there is a lot of paperwork in France. But it's everywhere there will be paperwork, and you need to be ready to face those things without feeling overwhelmed. There is someone else telling me professional goals are always about money and personal ones varies, and it could be personal satisfaction. Here I don't totally agree with this comment, because professional goals are not always about money. It's always, be careful with that one. You can also have the aim to work, for example, in a certain environment. You want to have a certain level of responsibility, or you want to be doing a work which passionates yourself. So it's very important that you don't fix your professional goals only about the money. You have to take into account what else it's your passion, and money will come by itself. So now that you have your task and deadlines well defined, you can start working on them, and this is when your next step, the next step of the method becomes important. So take action in alignment with your dreams. And here I want to recall the work of Dr. Dyer. He has written many books talking about the present moment, and in summary here are the principles. You can only live in the present moment, and you can only act and think in the present moment. You cannot change the past nor control the future. So if you are getting too much past, you will be experiencing regrets, complaints, or feeling guilt. And you will have thoughts such as the next, oh, I should have taken that opportunity last year. If you are in future mode, you will be experiencing worries, anxiety, and stress, and you will have thoughts such as, oh, I'll never be accepted in that program. Oh, no, they're going to reject me. So you need to come back to the present, and in conclusion, you can only act in the present moment. So you need to shift your way of thinking to something like this. I am applying to a great new position that I am ready to take. So do that moment by moment, and it's going to be, you'll see, it's going to be great. So let's go to, I want to show you a couple of phrases that I like very much, and I will read them to you. So to accomplish great things, we must not only act, but also dream. Not only plan, but also believe. Anatole de France. Change your life today. Don't gamble on the future. Act now without delay. Simone de Beauvoir. All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their minds wake in the day to find that is was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act on their dreams with open eyes to make them possible. Lawrence. Do you want to know who you are? Don't ask. Act. Action will delineate and define you. Jefferson. So all of them show you how important it is to act and to be coherent with your thoughts. And to be coherent, you first need to know what you want. So we come up to the final step, where I have you, where I leave you with some notes on how to manage your dream as a project. And there are some practices that will help you to take in charge your project and have some accountability. So set up your project as a priority for you, and set a time to work on your project if possible daily. Take 30 minutes to get clear and brainstorm before acting. Write down your ideas. Mark deadlines and important dates. Keep everything, if possible, in a single document. You will see that you will start generating lots of information, and it's good to keep everything in a visible place and be very organized. For example, create a folder for your project and all related documents. It's important to, again, take 30 minutes to get clear and brainstorm before start acting. So like this, you conduct efforts that are precise. Don't pretend to do things perfectly, because it will just take a lot of time, and it will just stop you from taking action. Release time from your daily routine and concentrate it to your project. Congratulate yourself for your achievements. This is a long process, and everything you are doing, every little act that you are doing that gets closer to your dream, it's something that you deserve to congratulate yourself. And also take time to relax and self-care. This is important to avoid feeling overwhelmed or to conduce to excesses such as burnout. And I just want to summarize the 7-step method again. So create an honest and positive profile of yourself, get clear on what you want to achieve abroad, define your needs and expectations abroad, transform your dream on a clear idea on paper, define tasks, goals, and priorities to achieve your project, take action in alignment with your goals, and learn how to manage your project. And I want to tell you that if you liked what you have learned today and that you feel that you need a personal advisor to support you and guide you to the process of just starting your career abroad, I propose a 12 or 8-week private coaching program, which includes a 4-part online course, 6 Skype calls with me, direct email access for questions, support and tracking from your advisor, and a workbook with exercise designed to help you take action. You can have more information on my website, and this website is dedicated to help you concretize your dream of living, studying, and working in a foreign country. Sorry. I offer here resources to start in my blog. I offer also personalized advice, and if you like it, you can join us on Facebook. And now I would like to thank you for your attention. I hope you find this information useful. I want to start the question and answer session now, as there is another seminar just after this one. So please, you can start sending me your questions. I will be here and I will answer them. You can use the chat if you have questions or comments or things you would like me to discuss with the audience. Or maybe some of you want to share if you are experiencing some limited thinking, or if you have mental fears or barriers about your project abroad, or how do you face change. So this seminar is for you, so don't be shy. So maybe someone wants to share if you have already a project, even if it's not so well defined. So why did you became interested in this seminar, or why are you wanting to start a career abroad? I want to share with you a code. Okay, here we have a question. So it's someone who is doing a master in computational chemistry and doesn't want to stay in academia, so it means doesn't want to follow a PhD and want to work for a very big company. So if this is your project and you are working and you are studying computational chemistry, I don't know if you are in first or second year. If you are in the second year, what I would suggest is that you start, definitely you need to start searching for an internship in this company. You need to go there and see how they work and try to get, for example, as a master student, I'm sure you can get an internship in their company and try to see how your knowledge is useful for them. And I'm sure that, especially for women, this company has a lot of aperture to support women that are pursuing careers in science. So you definitely can can do something about that. And I think your project should be about starting to look for an internship with them. And if you are open to work abroad, it means that you can, if you have mobility, you can find uh, a position with them around the world. Someone else is asking me how to switch from academia to the private sector. So I think it depends a lot on how advanced that you in your academia path. Uh, you can shift at any moment, but it will be different how you depend on the experience that you have accumulated. At some point, you need to see how this experience can be applied into other sector, and be careful, because when you move to the private sector, you probably won't find a position where you will be doing exactly what you were doing in academia. That's normal. If you want to change to the private sector, you need to be open and receptive to be doing something else. But remember that all what you have learned, all your experiences are, you can put them into value. You can add value uh, on your CV. So, for example, myself, I was working as a researcher, and a few months ago, I have shifted and started with this business of my project abroad, because I have a lot of experience uh, also in parallel with my academic career. So it's also good that we don't define ourselves by the work we are doing. We have many different, let's say, colors, many different ways to work, and we have valuable experiences in different aspects of our life that we can uh, put into service, and that's how you need to think. If I was not thinking like this, if I defined myself, for example, with the career I studied, uh, in this moment it will probably be difficult for me to continue developing in that area, because, as you know, the world is always changing. Uh, the needs of the world are changing too, so you are also changing what you are doing. So now you shouldn't be expecting to work in the same way and work in the same topic for a long period of time. That's why it's so important to embrace change. Are there any other questions, guys? We still have about 10 minutes, a little bit less maybe. So thank you so much for your advices. I am so happy to be here today and be able to discuss with people that are really planning to start their career abroad. And if you want, you can go and read the blog on my website, because I constantly share advices there, or things you need to reflect on. I will share with you guys a code, and with this code you will get 50% off if you decide to work with me as a private coach. So it's just in case you like to decide to join our 8 or 12-week coaching program later. Does anyone another question or want to share your project? I'm curious about if you are master students, PhDs, undergraduate, or maybe some of you are already working. So someone else who just finishes her PhD in computational chemistry. So maybe you want to say if you will continue your career in research, for example, as postdoc, or are you planning to shift to the industry or the private sector? It's now a very big, huge debate about women in science, about the community is waking up about how difficult it is for women in science to continue their career. And it's interesting maybe for you to start reading those posts that are circulating since several days ago. I think it's The Guardian. You can take a look at their website. There are plenty of interesting discussions about how women in science are facing a lot of challenges. But it doesn't mean that it's not it doesn't mean that you cannot have a great career in science. So this person say, okay, just finished my PhD and I'm interested because I'm a bit undecided about the path. So it's very important that you sit down and really take a time with yourself to be clear on what you want. I have also faced this kind of challenge where you have, you know, all the chances to succeed in both paths because you have all the talents and capabilities. And it's very hard, but you have to take your time to decide what do you want to explore more. If you want to, which is the path that will be more valuable for yourself. So someone else, again, not sure about what to do next. People writing grants for grants. Okay, so yeah, for the people who don't know how to do what to do next, I think you need to need to know that it's not the what you study that defines what you will do next. That's definitely not the case. So please stop defining yourself by your studies. Put in a box all your talents and capabilities. And that's why you need to be so honest with yourself. Which are your talents and capabilities that the world may need? And maybe you are an artist, and maybe you can sell your art, and maybe that's your passion, and that's what you need to be doing. Maybe you are going to be a great scientist and work for an institution. Somebody says, I want to play guitar, but nobody will buy it. That's not true, because I just have a friend, he's a scientist, and he plays sax, and he just started, he just finds some people in the lab who sing, and they made a group, and they are now, you know, selling online their music. And they are now in Brazil having a tour. And they are also scientists. They do both things. So that's also, it's not being it's being having multiple careers. This is something that before was unexplored, and now it's such an interesting thing to have multiple careers and develop that since we are young. So there is someone, I go back to the person who wrote a project for a postdoc. Of course, getting grants can be complicated, but you know, and you want to make your own proposal. If you have some interesting topic, you definitely can go for it. If this is what you really want to do, find a grant that support, for example, women in science and women making their own proposals. Find different research groups, talk a little bit about your proposal with them. Your project needs, if this is your project, you need to define in which group your proposal will be interesting, in which research group your proposal will be appealing. And if you don't know, you can start contacting a few research groups and telling them about your profile and your possible proposal, and maybe you will get positive answers from some of them. But if you don't try to do so, of course, no one is going to say, oh, she is out there and she has a great project. So you need to try. Before starting anything, again, before start acting, get clear, really clear on what you want, as clear as possible. If you cannot get clear on what you want, get clear on what you don't want. And this is already a very big step. So I think it's time to leave you guys, because there is another seminar coming up in a few more minutes, and they will kick me out of the seminar if the other person log in. So really nice to have this conversation with you, and I hope you can join us. You can also follow me on Facebook, and I leave you here the website if you want to take a look at the blog. I also, if you want to subscribe to the newsletter, every week I'm sending you information about books, about open opportunities, seminars, and sometimes blog posts. Thank you for being here today.